Greetings everybody, I'm Lobo, welcome to Luna. This is episode 166 of my Minecraft survival series. First things first, just want to apologize for my face right then. Very sorry about that. But I'm really in the mood to do some building today, you know? Because for the past few episodes, we've been working really heavy on the farms. We've been doing the kelp farm, the guardian farm, the villager breeder, all that stuff. Yeah, now I'm really in the mood to do some building though. So we're going to switch gears, pop on into building mode. First things first, so before we actually, start, I need to collect some supplies. So we're going to go ahead and leave Watchdog over here to keep this area loaded while the acacia grows back in. I am going to need some more of that stuff, definitely. And speaking of Watchdog, he's been doing really good lately. You notice there were no issues last episode. I have infinite rocket power. Hold on. Let's wait for the rockets to calm down a little bit. Calm down, there we go, beautiful. All right, so we're actually going to be working over here at the villager breeder today. We're going to be building up the Luna Welcome Center around that thing, or at least the exterior of it. But yeah, back to Watchdog, I'm entrusting him with more and more responsibilities now, because as I said, he's been doing better. Things were a little sketchy when he first returned from wherever Wolfen's laboratory put him, but, we are slowly returning to normal, it seems. Now that I think about it, Watchdog's been doing so good, maybe we should reward him in some way. Hey, Watchdog. What? Okay. I think we're just outside of earshot. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to get him as a reward, because I really do want to reward him in some way. I just don't know what he could possibly want, because Watchdog is a wolf of such simple taste, You've heard that phrase, what do you get the man who has everything? Well, what do you get the wolf who wants nothing is my question. Oh, guys, I had an idea. I think I know what the surprise is going to be, but I can't tell you because I don't actually know what it is. But I think I know where it is. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. Because, as of right now, I think I am just about ready to go ahead and start working on today's project. So, first things first, we are going to need a block palette, and as you can see, I've already got some of the blocks picked out. We'll have the jungle and acacia that we've been harvesting, we'll do various stones for the foundation, and we'll do white concrete for the walls themselves. The only thing we're really lacking at this point, the only thing I really don't know is the roof, and we're definitely going to need a roof. You know what I'd really like to use? Blackstone. The only problem is we don't have a ton of it left, and we are using it for some other projects as well, but I don't know. I really like this stuff, so we're gonna roll with it. So that means our block palette will look a little something like this, and we probably are gonna have to harvest some more Blackstone before we're actually done with this project, but, I'm digging it. So we're gonna roll with it. And then we need to figure out why we have pests. Next step is calling the exterminator, because we got a pest problem over here. Anyway, as I was saying, the next step is to figure out the size and shape of this thing, and I'm thinking I want it to be a fairly large rectangle, and I'm thinking I want that rectangle to be built on a diagonal, which means we'll just kind of center it on the villager breeder itself, and then we'll continue to get in the shape before we really do anything else, because that's really important when working with diagonals. It's just getting that planning done and knowing how the building is actually going to be shaped. Now, I do want this to be like kind of a weird angle, which we've experimented before and had some fairly good luck with, but it's not something I'm totally, completely comfortable with, right? So I will be seeking to kind of improve my building in this, particular, I don't know, style, whatever you want to call it. Anyway. And, it's a good thing to do to shift gears from time to time. Sometimes, if you just want to play, you can make something you're comfortable with, something you're confident with, but if you really want to challenge yourself, excuse me, trying to talk to people here, sorry about that. Sometimes, you may want to challenge yourself to make things a little bit more interesting, and that's where builds like this really come in handy, is, you can just kind of do something you're not 100% comfortable with, that there's not 100% chance of success once it's actually done. It keeps things interesting. It might not always work out the way you want it to, but, it keeps things interesting and it keeps things fun. And this is more or less the shape we're going to be rolling with. Now, basically what I did was I picked a number and stuck with it the whole way around. So each of these sections is 7 blocks long. So if we were to have an opening right here and we had to have like a tunnel that goes through, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again, and then we could have the other side of the opening right here, and it sticks with the same angle. You know, that's basically the design of this structure. I just stuck with the number and kept going, and that's how I got the diagonal. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's how I did it. Now, the structure is not going to be all there is to this build, because remember, we do have to connect the welcome center up to that area over there, which is like the other side of our villager breeder, right? So we have this tunnel that actually leads over there, and this is not going to be completely encased in the build, as you can see. So we're probably going to have to do a significant amount of terraforming around here and kind of come up with like a road design and, you know, all that stuff to kind of link everything up. But first things first, we need to handle this this pest problem, which means I'm going to have to go ahead and light up some caves and just make sure that we don't have anything spawning that's going to, you know, cause me trouble or blow up anything that we just built. So if you guys will excuse me for just a few moments, the exterminator couldn't come, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of this issue myself. Hello. Hello. Oh, there's multiple. Okay. Yeah. I'll be back with you guys in just a few. Alright, you know, I'm ready to get some blocks put down. I told you guys when we started this that I was in the mood to get started building. We're going to go ahead and just get started building. I'm tired of doing all this other stuff. So, we'll start by getting our foundation in, which I mentioned was going to consist of a variety of rocks. We're also going to be using some acacia pillars as well, and I'm going to go ahead and figure out where those need to be placed first so we don't end up wasting, you know, time putting down rocks, stones, mossy stones, etc., where they don't need to be. So, like for instance, right there, we're going to double up the pillar. I think on all these, we're actually going to double up the pillars, which means that we don't need these the foundation in behind the pillars. So that'll save us some blocks here and there, save us a little bit of work, a little bit of resources. And then we can go ahead and start getting the actual foundation in. And I think I want this. Hello, there's a zombie over here. You need to leave those guys alone. So I took care of the pest issue. Then we need to go ahead and get a foundation in, and I think this is going to go up fairly tall because I do want the first actual floor of this building to be where the villager breeder is. So that's kind of where we'll walk into the welcome center, and we are also going to seal this up because I'm not sure there's actually going to be any kind of door here. That was just, you know, for example for you guys earlier. That's gonna be ugly. Let's fix that. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to pre-vary up the blocks as we build this thing up, but we're not going to build the whole thing up right now. Like, I'll probably work on 1 or 2 sections of this thing for the moment. That way you guys can get a good idea of what we're actually going to be doing. So let me go ahead and get a few of these, or maybe like 2 of these sections built up. And I think that's a good height because that will hide the majority of this tunnel that the villagers travel through within the structure. A lot of it will be hidden by the terraforming after that, after the structure ends. But yeah, I think this is probably good, yeah. So we can start building the structure on top of this, and we'll work on that in just a moment. But, I mean, the structure will have to go up 1 more additional block in order to meet the floor of the villager breeder. So I think rather than just running these pillars all the way up to the top, we're going to change them up a little bit, offer a little bit of depth here instead. So what we're going to do is bring the acacia out by just a little bit before we get the structure in. That'll offer us some separation between these 2 areas, right? So you can see the floor here would be even with this right here, which means that that's where we would actually enter. That would be the first floor of our building, right? So let's go ahead and see how this looks. I know it's kind of hard to tell as I'm building it, but that's basically what we were doing. Just kind of bringing it out a little bit, offering a little bit extra depth. And then we can go ahead and start getting our walls in, and as discussed, our walls will be made of white concrete, not the concrete powder. We will convert it in just a little bit, but I want to go ahead and get some of this in place so we can continue our planning and get a good idea of what this building is actually going to look like at full height. And speaking of height, we are going to be adding additional stories to the center sections of this building, so it's going to be, you know, obviously the height's going to be varied, but that'll make for a more interesting look and interesting roof line and stuff like that. And speaking of trying to keep the roof line interesting, we can try to vary up the angle at which it actually goes up. Like we can kind of have it at like a not so steep pitch right here and then kind of gradually go into like 45 degrees. And then, you know, it'll eventually get steeper and steeper as we get more towards the center, right? So prior to getting our roofing material in, this is what we're looking at, and I will fix that because that is way too blocky on the sides. Yeah, I don't like that. I also don't like the squares that are starting to show up here, so chances are in these center sections, we'll probably get rid of the vertical acacia pillars, which means we would just kind of bring this out a little bit and not worry about, you know, separating these sections. We just add, you know, more concrete walls, just have the walls consistent throughout these, I did not mean to fall off already, but have the walls more consistent throughout the center section, right? Just be like, you know, big, longer rectangles. And then to give ourselves a better idea of how this is ultimately going to look, we can go ahead and, you know, erase all the work we did lighting up that area with torches a little while ago, but also harden our concrete so we can go ahead and start punching in some holes and kind of figuring out how our windows are actually going to look. Now, I kind of want to stick with vertical windows throughout this thing, just to kind of give it, you know, a taller appearance, make it look like it's you know, add a little bit more the illusion of height to it, right? Because it already is pretty tall, but we could always make it look even taller. And I am going to try a little something different with windows than I normally do. We're going to go with glass panes for once, because I never use glass panes. But we are going to go ahead and, you know, try some different stuff. You know, we're going to try to experiment in this build. I'm going to try to see if I can manage to stay on anything long enough to actually get stuff done. But this is what I'm thinking. This is what it's actually going to look like. So we kind of tie in that jungle. We tie in the Blackstone, which is going to be on our roof. So hopefully that brings everything together. So obviously we're going to end up with a decent sized structure, and hopefully I've kind of explained to you well enough what I plan on doing. I think I have a pretty good idea of what I plan on doing. So at this point, why don't we go ahead and call Watchdog on over, put on a little bit of music, and get done as much as we can actually get done. Welcome back, everybody. So the Luna Welcome Center is mostly built. I say mostly because, well, we ran out of Blackstone material for the roof, which was expected. That was totally expected. So this is about as far as we could get currently, and I want to finish getting the roof in before we start working on the details and all that stuff. But overall, I mean, I'm liking the way that this is looking. I'm really liking it. It's looking super tall, super impressive from down here. It makes an impression from across the river as well. So yeah, overall, I'm happy with it so far, but this is basically just a general structure. There's no details in. As you might notice, there's no actual way in here. We don't have an entrance anywhere. I'm considering that a detail, a minor detail, and we will get around to that once we actually do start working on the detail stuff. But I want to get the roof and all that stuff figured out first. So Oh, you know what? I mentioned it makes an impression from across the river. This is what it looks like from across the river. Overall, it fits in. You know, it's a good height in keeping with the rest of the approach, right? I like it. I like it. But as I said, before we do anything else, I want to get the roof done. So we're going to go ahead and get geared up and take a trip to the Nether and collect some more Blackstone. Now, we not only need Blackstone for this, but also for Wharf, because that is a project that's going to be using a lot of this stuff as well. Oh my! So we're going to return to the new section of Nether where we have our strip mine set up, and I think what we're going to do is just kind of like a general Nether mining session, which means we're going to be collecting some, hopefully, ancient debris to make some netherite, some quartz, nether gold ore if we come across it, and of course Blackstone. That is the main focus of, well, our mining session today, what we're looking at. So I don't know, we'll see how much we can get overall. Hopefully it's enough to get done what we actually want to get done. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so at this point, it's quickly becoming apparent to me. Well, I won't say quickly because we've been here for a little bit already, but it's quickly becoming apparent to me now that this probably isn't the best way to collect Blackstone. Like, we're getting a good variety of stuff, we are. But, you know, we're gonna be here for a long time if we're using this as our means of collecting as much Blackstone as we actually need for today's project and also next week's project. All right, so, I mean, this is basically what we were able to get. I haven't been at this super long, but we're just not collecting it quick enough to justify us being down here for Blackstone, right? So I think what might be a better option is if we go ahead and pack up all our stuff and make our way over to the actual Basalt Delta. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of good experiences in this biome, but, you know, we did find something that works, right? Just kind of tunneling underneath and then harvesting our Blackstone from beneath the ground where the enemies can't actually get to us. So we'll go ahead and seal ourselves in here and we'll just try that. And this does seem to be an easy and much more productive way of getting what we actually need. So long as we don't get greedy, you know, so long as we don't take that top layer off and have magma cubes raining down upon us, we're good to go. Oh, no, don't burn. I need that. I need the Blackstone. Don't burn it. Okay. Nope, not again. Okay, so this does seem to be a pretty good way of collecting Blackstone. The only problem is, you know, we have to brave the Basalt Delta in order to find these deposits. But I think there might be an easier way to do this. Because let's face it, this is not a whole lot of fun for me, running around trying to avoid magma cubes and lava and gas and stuff like that once they actually do start spawning in. So I think what I'm going to do is try to make my way to a pretty low part of the Basalt Delta. And this is fine. This is fine. Right here is fine. This is fine. Right here. Perfect. Okay. And from here, what we're going to do is just tunnel our way back to the branch mine. That way we can just walk through the branch mine to get to the Basalt Delta, and then possibly, hopefully, just tunnel from Blackstone Deposit to Blackstone Deposit. And check this out, we got some more ancient debris. Hey, we're gonna be digging a long way. We'll get some ancient debris this way too, yeah. Huh. This could be a problem. I mean, well, maybe not, maybe not. We just have to proceed cautiously, right? Proceed cautiously, put up walls. Could we not with the creepy sounds, please? All right, so that should hopefully do it, I think. Yes! Oh, perfect, all right. All right, so we are down to where we need to be. Let me go ahead and take a few minutes to link this up to our branch mine, and then we can get back to work. Check it out, guys, we got debris. We got debris. The way we're going, like linking this up, we might end up making a new tool. That might be nice. Just have another netherite pickaxe to our name. Oh, check it out! More debris! Even more debris! Even more debris. I don't know if it'd be smarter to make a new tool or to save the debris, because it does have some pretty unique properties. Maybe we can use it to, you know, for farms and stuff like that. I don't know. Have to consider. But I gotta say, incidental debris is definitely the best debris. Like the debris that you're not even actively looking for, right? Check this out. This is nice, isn't it? So from here, it's a pretty straight shot back to our mine. This is very nice. Look at this. Oh, very, very nice. And just when I thought we were done, Just when I thought we were done. But we made it. Now we have this path linking us up to the Basalt Delta, which should make our future Blackstone collecting endeavors much easier, including the one we're about to do. Now, we will eventually make it easier to travel through the Nether because it takes a long time. You know, there's a distance we have to travel every time we want to get somewhere. I'm thinking we might make some use of the soul speed boots and soul sand in the future, but that's, you know, we'll talk about that at a different time. That's a whole different project, and I'm not going to get into that right now. As far as right now, what we're going to do is collect some Blackstone, and I'm thinking maybe about 3 shulker boxes should do it. We'll probably need 1 to finish up our project today, and then we'll have a couple left over for wharf and stuff like that, right? Good job, Watchdog. Isn't he doing such a good job? So earlier we were talking about a reward for him, right? And I'll tell you what it is. So a few episodes ago, Watchdog was looking for something at Wolford's house. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I can only assume it's something that Wolford took from him when he imprisoned him in that dark alternate dimension. So we're going to see if we can help him find whatever that was in just a little bit. So our goal was 3 shulker boxes. There's 1. There's 2. And this is 3, so just over 3 shulker boxes of Blackstone to our name now, which is plenty for us moving forward, right? But now that we hopefully have everything we need, it's time to get back to work. Welcome back to the Luna Welcome Center. So before we actually get around to detailing this build and all that stuff, I did say I want to get the general structure finished first, specifically the roof. So that's what we're going to go ahead and tackle right now. So just bear with me for a moment. Once we get this done, then we'll start worrying about all the little details and all that stuff that's going to really make this build come to life, right? And there we go, guys. We have a roof. We have a roof. Now, I did make some sacrifices to the diagonal in some areas to kind of make it look a little less wonky, but I think overall that's a good shape. That's a good shape for our roof. There are still some dangers around there, some creepy dangers that like to hang around and blow my stuff up. But that's okay, because eventually this whole thing is going to be non-spawnable. The entire roof is non-spawnable as of right now, and we will make the rest of the build non-spawnable as well, because remember, we're trying to stay safe here. This is a safe area. But now it's time to go ahead and move on to details, and the first question we're going to answer is, well, how do we get inside your building here, Lobo? And the answer is simple. There's going to be a door right here at the center of it, and we're going to have a simple stair set leading straight up to it. Now, because the Welcome Center welcomes visitors into Luna, we're going to have this lead down to a dock right here, so any of our seafaring, visitors can easily access the Welcome Center. Of course, there'll be, land access to the Welcome Center as well. Now, we're not going to actually build the dock today. We'll probably tackle that once we get around to landscaping this area. Right now, that's just, for reference. That's what we're going to do there, just making you guys aware of that. Now, we are going to be using jungle floors along the interior of this as well, just for that sense of cohesion, right? So, interiors, also something we're not going to do today. We'll tackle that when we get around to the interiors. Now, as far as the details go, doors, windows, all that stuff, we're going to be basically mixing and matching the jungle, the acacia, and Blackstone. So we're going to see if we can find a hopefully somewhat pleasing way to manage that. Alright, so there are the jungle and acacia accounted for. As far as the Blackstone goes, we're going to tie it in like we did with the windows here. I'm thinking maybe an awning above the door made out of Blackstone should do it. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how this looks. I think this is going to work. I think that's going to work. So even though the front and back of this building are both symmetrical, I am getting a bit too excited. Let's actually climb up the scaffolding. We're not going to do another entrance in the back that's like this. We'll probably just do a balcony in the back. That way, the building's different from whichever angle you look at it from, right? We don't want it to be the same. We don't want it to be boring. We want it to be new and interesting from all angles, right? Now, as far as our windows go, we already know what they're going to look like, but we still do need to determine where exactly they are going to need to be, so I'm going to go ahead and figure that out. And also harden up any concrete that was missed when we were hardening the concrete a bit earlier. Oh, no. Okay, now we're going to have a flood. And while we're up here, we can discuss this little protrusion you might have noticed me making when we were getting in the structure of this place. I forgot to mention it at the time, but the front was looking a little bit flat to me, so I was thinking this could eventually be a little bit of a balcony overlooking the river and looking onto Luna. I think that might be kind of cool. Now, as far as balcony access goes, we'll just do the same thing that we did downstairs for the entrance. Same doors, same windows, all the way around. For the most part. Oh my goodness, I heard a kerfuffle. This wolf is chasing this fox, and we cannot allow that to happen. Listen, calm down, Wolfie. Calm down. Foxes are friends. Just relax, okay? Relax, we're all good here. Oh my goodness. Here, you know what? Chew on this for a minute. Get your life together. We don't do this kind of stuff in Luna, Wolfie. We don't do this kind of stuff. You just stick with me, okay? You stick with me, I'll keep you well fed. You don't have to worry about all that, you know, chasing foxes and whatnot, all that nonsense. See, isn't this much better? Yes, it is. You're such a good doggy. Yes, you are. All right, time to get back to work. So that is all the holes for our windows and doors now popped in here. Now I want to kind of look at the foundation, the bottom part, all the stone and stuff like that. So I said we're going to have land access to the Welcome Center as well. So imagine that you're approaching Luna on horseback. You're riding up a path that's not yet created, and you need somewhere to park your horse, right? I think this bottom section is going to be like a little horsey parking garage, or a stable, which might be a better word for it. And as far as the stable goes, you know, just like a lot of our other stuff that we talked about, we'll work on this a bit later. Right now we're just focused on the exterior of the building itself. So now that you guys know the plan, I am ready to get started building again. We got all the little details and stuff to do, so at this point, why don't we go ahead and call Watchdog on over, put on a little bit of music, and try to get the rest of this building, the exterior anyway, wrapped up. Welcome back, everybody. So this is the Luna Welcome Center, the exterior of it complete. I'm going to go ahead and walk around and just make sure I didn't miss any blocks, make sure nothing's too out of whack here. So join me, and then you can see what it looks like from all the different angles and whatnot as we go through here, and just make sure we got all our fence posts in place, all our windows dressed up the way they actually need to be. Coming around the back here, you can see what I did with the balcony. I decided to kind of, you know, do these like little supports and stuff here rather than having stuff go into the ground. I think that looks kind of nice. We can do some landscaping down there eventually. Overall, though, I'm pretty happy with how this place ended up. It looks grand, doesn't it? It looks grand. It looks impressive. It welcomes you into Luna, which is, you know, what it actually does. It does that, and it also does that, right? But yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's terraforming, there's landscaping, there's interiors and all that. But I think overall, we are off to a pretty good start. All right, so throughout this episode, we've been talking about Watchdog's surprise. And you know what? Watchdog is now back. So we can go ahead and start taking down these missing posters. I have such a bad habit of leaving stuff up longer than it needs to be left up. But we can go ahead and start taking this stuff back and figure out what it was that Watchdog was looking for over here inside Wolford's house. You know, I don't even know why I'm whispering. It's not like Wolford can do anything to me for being loud in his house anymore. Look at him, so smug up there. Oh, the treachery, the betrayal. All right, so what did Wolford take from Watchdog? What was Watchdog looking for in here that that Wolford is keeping from him, or that he kept from him? I don't even know what I'm looking for, and it's so hard to see in here. It's always so dark in Wolford's house, and it's nighttime too. It's especially hard to try to locate anything. So maybe what we should do, maybe what we should do is sleep, get some sunlight streaming through the windows, you know, and then it'll probably be easier to find some stuff in the morning, right? Wait a second. What is this? Got a hideaway too. What? This is the hideaway book. We only had 2 pages as before. Okay. Don't trust them. They are not who they say they are. They are him. They do his bidding. Those who defy him vanish, never to be seen again. Will you be his pawn or will you disappear? Will I be his pawn or will I? And then it stops. I assume this guy disappeared, right? Why does Wolford have this? Oh, I didn't disappear. He didn't disappear. He didn't disappear. When I am called upon by the builder, I am compelled to acquiesce immediately. Regardless, we were discussing both him and them. I regret I have still not discovered who he is or who they are. I was close, but Wolfen's Labs grew suspicious of my inquiries and they pawned me off on the builder. Is this Wolford? Did Wolford write this? I thought it was, why, it was anonymous. But this must be Wolford. Wolfen's Labs pawned him off on me, right? Oh my goodness. I fear they may have removed his previous assistant from the equation, and that is referring to Watchdog. I can only assume the assistant will soon be replaced by one of them. When that happens and the replacement returns, I fear what will become of me. The builder calls. This must be the last time we called him. Called Wolford. And Watchdog's been replaced. Oh my goodness, so Watchdog's been replaced by one of them and Wolford has been helping us the whole time? And I locked Wolford up. Oh guys, we gotta make this right. We gotta make this right. Okay. Let me make it daytime and we're gonna go and pay Wolford a little visit. Oh, I can't believe this. I feel so bad. Wolford's been falsely imprisoned this whole time by my own hand, no less. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How am I gonna make this up to him? He's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be so mad. And what are we gonna do about Watchdog? What are we gonna do about everything that's... Hi, Watchdog. Hi, you playing pinball, huh? Yeah, you're playing a little bit of pinball? That's good. I don't have anything. I was just going around taking down your missing posters. There's none in here, of course. So I'll just go ahead and let you get back to what you were doing, okay? You're just gonna, yeah. All right, cool. I'll see you around, Watchdog. You know, taking down your missing posters because, of course, you're not missing anymore. Oh, okay. How are we going to get to Wolford? Watchdog's going to be keeping a close eye on him. How are we going to get to him? Oh, my goodness. You know, too bad I built myself a secret exit from Law Headquarters, but not a secret entrance. That would have been convenient. Oh, my goodness. This is bad. All right, well, let's just focus on the positive for right now. We made a pretty good amount of progress on the Luna Welcome Center, right? So that's good. That's good. As far as Watchdog and Wolford goes, I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess. We'll figure it out. But I think that is probably all the time we have for today. Ow. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.